I mean, it's every generation definitely is different, you know, and it's since my generation, then Rafa's generation. Yes, the next one hasn't been strong enough to push all of us out, really. So that has been helpful for us to stick around, or for a lot of our guys to maybe hang around. But I also do believe that for some reason at the moment, it's the way that the point system is structured, and all the big points really only starting from semis on. Like a young guy, if he wants to make a breakthrough, he can beat me or any top player. But if he doesn't make a run to the finals or win the tournament, he's not making any move in the rankings, really. So, and that has also parts to do with it, because as a young player, it's not so easy to win 5 straight matches. And I think that's this consistency that's been required now by the young generation is quite complex, I think. And then because of all our different playing styles at the top, with Stan in there, Cilic in there, then the big four, I just think it's hard for young guys to make a run through that. And virtue of that, it's just hard to break through. I do believe the depth in men's game is as great as it's ever been, but because conditions maybe play the way they do, not super fast anymore like they used to. Like back in the 80s, you know, margins are maybe a bit bigger because of the surface speed, the ball speed and the racket technology. And you have to hit a lot of good shots to come through a Murray or a Djokovic, and especially in 5 sets it catches up with you. And it's favourable for top guys.
Yeah, Roger.
Yeah, it's good. No, I'm just maybe a good question.
Roger, you've won the 8th title here. What becomes the ultimate target? Is it 20 Grand Slams? Is it 10 Wimbledon titles? What do you set for yourself now?
The target now is to enjoy being Wimbledon champion for a year, and Australian Open champion, and you name it. So I haven't set sight on a number of Grand Slams that I have to or want to achieve. I never really had that. I was very content at 17, I must tell you. So of course I was going to be happier at 18, and I'm even happier at 19, but 17 was a wonderful number. You know, I think for me it's really about you know, just enjoying myself, staying healthy, and then we'll see what happens. You know, I'm playing for titles at this stage of my career. Rankings not so much, unless I'm as close as I am right now, so I have to just check the situation, if it's worth it to run after it or not, or just like I explained with the point situation, if you win bigger tournaments and you beat the best players, you will be rewarded by it. But by just playing tournaments and playing quarters, nothing will happen. So that's why I just have to be just clever with my body.
Congratulations, Roger. If you'll indulge me slightly here, you're obviously coming to Scotland in November. I was just wondering if you'd ever been before, how excited you are to come with the trophy, and there's no chance you and Andy put the trophy up for grabs?
No, now it's in here, it's mine, so we're not putting it up for grabs now, you know. Not that quick one match showdown, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to have a good time, and I really, I think it's wonderful what he's doing, you know, also his philanthropic efforts, you know, for good causes. I think we can do so much more in tennis, and he was wonderful in Zurich. People walked away from it. So many people told me how much fun Andy actually was and what a great sport he was. So I was so happy he did that, and I can't wait to return the favour, of course.
Roger, the way the points system works, as you discussed, means you're still at the top of the game despite playing so little compared to your peers. Do you see a future where the best players pick and choose their tournaments more, take periods out of the game to prolong their careers, generally in the same way that you've done?
Well, I hope it's not a trend, you know. I hope I'm unique because I'm 35, 36 years old, and I got 4 kids. So if you got that, maybe then yes, start doing that maybe. And then you got to have the same issues that I had. I didn't just walk away from the game for 6 months last year just because I was in the mood to. I actually had to. So it's a big difference there as well. But yes, everybody needs to manage their own schedules, and we do have, you know, some helps within the system for over 30 players. reached 600 matches, former world number ones, they all get sort of a freebie at the Masters 1000 level, which gives them more flexibility, which I think is actually plenty.
Roger, just to clarify on the point system, are you saying that it'd be a good idea for lower ranked players to get more points if they beat, say, players in the top 10? Rather
Well, I grew up with bonus points,
right.
believe it or not, back in the 90s. So I remember playing Pat Rafter on Susan Lengline in Paris, and I was playing for, it was double points in Grand Slams, and I think it was 45 points to beat a player between 2 and 5. So it was like 90 points just to beat Pat, and then take the points of the round. Of course, sometimes you couldn't defend those points the following year, so it was all complex. But it was great for a big court player to play a big guy and beat him there. What I just feel like is a bit wrong in the ranking system. So let's say at the Grand Slam level, you know, if you have a great run and you play a quarters, like Andy did, for instance, let's take he fought, he lost in 5 sets, walks away with 360 points, and I walk away with 2,000 points. I just feel like the gap's too big. It wasn't always like that. It's only been like this since a few years, and to win 8 250s to make up for a slam, I just find it too much. So that's why by playing little and making so many points at slam level, of course it puts me in a total different situation where I can really start picking and choosing my moments when to attack. So, but again, it is how it is, and the good thing also is the best player in the world should be the one also winning the biggest tournaments. So from that aspect, I also understand that we have a lot of points at Masters 1000s, slams, and then also the World Tour finals in particular as well.
Just on that thing about having to hit so many shots to beat the top guys, do you think that's one reason why older players are doing better? Because mentally it's kind of hard to, if you're a kid, to just kind of keep on playing those 20-shot rallies.
The question is? Sorry.
Well, like the young guys, they kind of mentally can't sustain those long
Maybe, but then, yeah, I mean, but they can choose not to play that way too. If the coaches taught them differently, maybe. But I know you can easily get sucked into that mode where you don't want to attack, but if you can't volley, you're not going to go to the net. I mean, I've played almost every player here that wouldn't serve and volley. It's frightening to me to see this at this level, that when I look at the stats and I go into whatever round it is and I see that the guy I'm going to face has played 2% of serve and volley throughout the championships, I'm like, okay, I know he's not going to serve and volley, which is great. So and then we're talking on grass, and he's playing fast this week, and I just feel like I wish we would see more coaches, more players taking chances up at net, because good things do happen at net, but you want to be up there and have to spend some time up there to feel good and confident up there.
It feels a bit like everyone's trying to be like Andy and Novak in their style, like two-handed baseline.
Yeah, then again, they're very different, and Andy, you know, he's got a lot of variety in his way. But yes, you know, slugfest with Andy and Novak from the baseline, or Rafa for that matter. Yeah, good luck if you're 50 in the world. It's not so simple to take him out.
Andy, in the Australian, you mentioned that your coach had told you the importance of just embracing that final against Rafa. And it seemed
Who said that?
Well, Dubicic, you said, you know, don't shy away from it, don't ignore it. It's a big moment, embrace it. I remember you saying you felt that's what you did, you learned to do that. Has that been an underlying theme for these last 7 months for you in this run?
Well, I mean, look, you can tell yourself these things, and it sometimes just won't work because your game's not there to back it up, or your mind's wandering around, or maybe you're, you know, just not feeling so good, whatever it is. So you need all aspects like a puzzle to fit together at the same time nicely, and I think that's what I did well here this tournament. I was unbelievably focused. It was a great performance for me on the mental side to win the tournament. After people told me I was the favourite, you know, going in, which to me was a bit bit too soon, to be honest. You know, I feel like I played so little this year, and just because I won, you know, I played well at the beginning of the year didn't mean I was going to play well here again necessarily. So for me to come up with the goods here, it's very gratifying. But yes, of course, you have to always, you know, in the bigger matches, you've got to embrace it, because the worst thing is what you can do, and it's happened to me too. In some finals, you're like, you know, it's the tension. Like, I just hope the finals would be over already, you know, and I could do something else. And so it's a terrible feeling, and that's usually when you're probably not going to win. Even though, you know, you always get up and you always play all right in the finals because you've come all this way, but because you've worked so hard, you've come all this way, you better make the most of it, because getting back into that finals 1 year later is a lot of work.
We have time for the last two questions. Roger, in
what ways was this win similar to your win against Wimbledon, and in what ways was it different?
I felt it was much more different than it was similar, in a sense. The only big similarity for me is that I was having 4 kids here and then, so that's about it. The rest is from the way I felt, from the matches I had, you know, it felt like a fairy tale during the Australian Open as it was going on, you know, winning 5 sets against, that playing at a great match against Berdych, like, oh wow, I can play actually really good at a high level, and then the 5 sets against Nishikori, like reminding myself, wow, I can even hang physically, and I'm actually still in the draw, and we'll see what happens next. Next thing you know, you're in the semis, and then the back-to-back 5-setters. Then for the end, it's nothing that I had here. You know, I was leading from the get-go every single match here at the championships, and once you're in the lead, and I'm a great front runner, I never look back. It's unbelievable. So I feel it's very different one to another. Of course, expectations were different from within myself, from the team, from the press, from fans alike, so yeah, it's quite incredible actually within 6 months how much can change.
Last one.
Roger, I remember on the equipment day in Melbourne this year, you said that you and your entourage had partied like rock stars.
Yeah.
The night before. Wanted you to tell us what you did last night, how much sleep you got, etc.
My head's ringing. I don't know what I did last night, but I drank too many different types of drinks, I guess. But after the ball, we went to, I don't even know what it's called, I guess it's a bar. And there was about, I don't know, almost 30 to 40 friends that were there, so we had a great time. Got to bed at 5, and then woke up and just didn't feel good. The last hour finally feeling somewhat okay again, so I'm happy about that. But we had a good time.
Thank you. We have to move into.
Thank you guys. I'll see you guys.